quite a team working on that. Our next teller is Reno J, the daughter of Dave and Jacinda J, and granddaughter of Billy and Judy Renfro, Richard and Joan J. Got to do that right? This, and she's so sweet, and she's tall. Okay. This homeschooler loves photography, and she graciously has added to our photography session here, helping us get some pictures, along with the lovely Lisa Leary. And so we do want to thank her. She's faithfully helping us every year. Lisa, thank you. So anyway, back to Reno Jessie. This homeschooler loves photography, showing horses, going to church, and her church youth activities, and hanging out with friends. Now, I quote, I didn't know her before, and so I said, you got to tell me a little bit about yourself. So let me quote here. She said, I'm very eclectic and forthright. And I have a huge personality, and I am determined to do anything I set my mind to, except hammer. There's a story there.
You see, my dad's great at hammering. He worked construction all his life, and I did not get that gene.
Didn't get
hammered. I like my mom.
I'm good at showing horses and taking pictures, and I was once pretty good at riding bulls. Another story that this young lady must have. I mean, she's, okay. I love being a problem solver. Please welcome our final student teller, Reno Jessie.
Well, you see, I come from a family that does cowboy stuff. And when your family does cowboy stuff, you meet other people that also does cowboy stuff. Now, you might ask, what is cowboy stuff? Because that's kind of a loose term. Well, cowboy stuff can be many different things. It can be riding colts, fixing fence, or working cattle. Well, you see, I learned fast that riding colts was really hard work, because that's when you're training a horse to ride under saddle. So you end up in the dirt a lot because they'll buck you off. So you got to be really sticky to your saddle to be any good at it. And I ain't never liked fixing fence because, as you've already learned, I'm not good at hammering. So I always end up whacking my fingers somehow when I'm trying to put a staple in the post. But working cattle, you see, that can be one of the funnest jobs for a cowboy or a cowgirl can do. And you can come out with some pretty awesome stories. So there are many different parts that come into working cattle. You can work the head catch, you can give medicine, you can push cattle up the lane, you can work the back pens, you can bring them out of the field. Many times you get to do all of the above. Now, working the head catch, that's an adrenaline-packed job because typically the cattle are running down the lane, so you got to catch their head before they run out into the pasture. Because if they run out into the pasture, then you have to go pull that one singular cow back up into the pens. And that just ain't no fun. Giving medicine, well, that's neat. You feel like a mad scientist when you're doing that because you're mixing vaccines and you're giving shots, and it's basically like a really hands-on version of your high school science class, but cooler. You get to put medicine on their back that'll help prevent flies and inject vaccines. You get to put ear tags in their ears, so that can be really neat. And pushing them up the lane, that's a simple job until it's not. Every now and again, one will try to climb out or bust out, and you gotta encourage it to go the proper way. Well, working the back pens, well, you see, that's like a box of chocolates. You never quite know what you're gonna get in the back pens. The back pens are what separates the cowboys from the city slickers. Cattle will get mean, they'll want to fight, and they'll even try to hook you with their horns if they've got them. They'll throw you into fences, so a lot of times you got to be prepared to jump up on the fence. So you always got to be on your guard in the back pens. Pulling them up out of the field, that's a pretty okay job, especially if you have a good horse and a good work dog. So I recall this one day. I was working cattle with this older gentleman. He was a cowboy, and he requested that my brother, myself, another cowboy who is a day worker, which is just someone who will go work your cattle and then you pay him a day wage for it, and then the fellow who owned the cattle. So you start out trying to gather your cattle up. So we had one guy on a horse, we had 2 work dogs, and then everybody else was on foot. Now work dogs, they're great. They save you a lot of work, unless the owner of the cattle doesn't like them. And that's what happened in this case. So the fellow that owned the cattle was real nervous about having the dogs near his cattle anyways. So the fellow on the horse was like, just calm down, my dogs ain't gonna do anything bad, it'll be fine. Well, he didn't like them, so he kept trying to call the dogs off of the cattle, which in turn makes the cattle turn back on you, which is just when the cattle want to run over you to get past you, which isn't that bad if you have people who are willing to jump in front of the cattle and spook them back. But you see, the fella that owned the cattle, he wasn't willing to go, ha, and spook them back. He was more like, ha, out of the way. So we finally get them pinned after they turned back a few times, and everything was going good. The fella on the horse was pushing them up from the back pins into the lane. My job that day was to keep them moving up the lane to my brother, the older gentleman who called us to work, and the owner, who was keeping the tag numbers to know which cattle he wanted to sort out and which ones he wanted to keep. They were pregnancy checking to see if they had a calf. And so everything was going good, which typically means something's going to go bad. So I'm pushing them up the lane, everything's going great, and then there's this one mama cow. She just didn't want to go in the head catch. I mean, she was just upset about it. She started bellowing and she braced up and she wouldn't go. She wanted to turn around. Well, now, a lane, it's only about this wide. It's only wide enough for a cow to go forward up. Well, she tried to turn around. And typically, that would be okay. You could just push her forward. Well, these pins, I truly and honestly believe a good hard sneeze would blow these pins down. These pins are what make you a cowboy. So this cow, she tries to jump out. Well, she successfully broke 2 boards. And I'm over there and I'm trying to pull her back in and I've got her tail and I'm trying to push her face in. And all the other cowboys come running over there to me. Well, it was just too late. I was no match for this 1,200-pound cow. She just plows through the fence. So I had to climb over the fence, and it was my job to stand in the hole and make sure nothing else came out. So then, several more cows tried to come out over top of me, but I successfully got them back. So we finally finished tagging and all that good stuff. So then it's time to run them back through and sort your cattle out to which ones you're going to sell and which ones you're going to keep. So we called the stockyards, and they got the trailers on the way, and we're sorting. So you have a gate in your lane to your keep pin and your sell pin. Everything's going good. We're batting 100. We haven't missed one cow yet. And then there's this one. She comes down the fence. Man, she's bellowing and just angry, and she just plowed through our gate. We were trying to sell her, and she just back into the keep pin. So we said, okay, we'll go pull her back up. Run her through again. Bam! Back through the gate again. So we're getting pretty upset at this cow at this point. So we go in there and we pick her out again. Now these cattle, they're all the same color, so it's not like you can just go get them. I mean, you have to look for their tags, so this is taking time. So we're all a little agitated at this point. So we said, we're gonna get her through this time. She busts through the gate again. So we all get in the back pins trying to find her. Well, she just didn't stop at the gate this time. She jumped the pins completely. She jumped out into the neighbor's field and started running through the woods. So the guy on the horse, he takes off after her and he's looking for her. Well, in the meantime, me and the fellow who owned the cattle, well, he's in the back pens with me. And I had noticed that there was this cow down. She was sick. She wasn't doing real good. So she was in no condition to jump up and catch somebody. But the fellas from the stockyards, they were back there hollering and saying, oh, watch out, she'll get you, she's gonna hook you, watch her. So the guy that owned the cattle, he's turning around saying, he's about to say, y'all just need to hush, I got this under control. Well, as I've already said, you pay attention when you're in the pens. He was not. This other cow comes running past him and grabs him under his knees and picks him up and throws him about 10 feet over. So he's scrambling to get back to his feet. He jumps up on the fence and he's like, we're getting out of the back fence now. We're not doing this no more. So he goes out of the back fence. I was like, you've been watching what you've been doing, man. He was like, I know what I'm doing, guys. So anyways, everything went pretty smooth after that. We got done with the cattle. The cow that ran away, well, she's still running around somewhere in the woods, I suppose. She may be that cow that jumped the moon, actually. That's just a look into the day of life doing cowboy stuff. Thank you.